Hmm. Did I? Did I? Must not have saved it. Oh, yeah, I didn't. Okay, that explains that. That's done at least. You'd think I'd be able to walk through that. Might as well. Oh, good. Well, that should help a little bit. And that should help a lot. And I got all that stuff, so I'm good there. Oh, actually, I can use another couple wishes since I haven't burned one. Let's save this. Yeah. Excuse me. Hey, what's going on, Q Dog? So this is if you saw Arthur playing Trials of Mana, the 3D game, this is Seiken Densetsu 3. It's actually what Trials of Mana is a remake of. Or I guess you can call it a remake. So like has all, and it's basically a pretty faithful 3D rendition. Has all the same characters, a lot of the same skills. It added a lot to the point and leveling system in the version that Arthur played, but otherwise it's pretty faithful. How are you doing today? Yeah, since I had kind of talked Arthur into playing like the boys club version, I said I'll do like a girls club version on the original, and it's definitely a little tight. So I have a bit of an advantage in that this girl in the front in the green, that's my main person. She's a good physical damage dealer, and she can also eventually like do status increases or decreases. This girl Carly in the pink, she's a priest, so thankfully I already have a healer, a dedicated healer, which Arthur did not have in his for a while. And then this girl Angela is a dedicated mage. So it's not quite as damage heavier group as Arthur had. And it's a little more technically functional, but like in practice it's definitely a bit harder because they're a lot softer targets and their damage isn't as much. So, in the early game, that's weird. There we go. I don't know why I was doing that. In the early game, it's a little bit tougher because all of Angela's damaging spells, they are locked behind whatever spirit you have available to you. So since I only have the light spirit, that's the only spell I can cast. Which, I mean, it's a decent enough spell. But it's a little harder to take advantage of elemental weaknesses at this point. But I thought I would hop on and play this a little bit while I was waiting for my phone charge to go to the gym. I'm yawning a bit much today. It's not bad over here. It's like 60 degrees, give or take, I think. Yeah, about 60. But I am also a little sleepy myself. This is why I'm probably gonna go excuse me, go get a workout in after I finish this dungeon. And maybe I'll go a little further, so it's just a full hour at least. Here it is. Looking all around for the wrong thing. Yeah, that's one thing I'm still not fully used to yet. Alright, that's the here. Let me see what goes this way. Let's say it might be down here. Oh, not even paying attention to my life. And I'll get a piece up for it. Did you see DG eat the chip earlier? I feel like the last Mana game wasn't that long ago. I've been having suck ass luck with these. I want to say the last Mana game that I can think of off the top of my head was like 2014, 2015. Okay, yeah, this just leads here. Yeah, that was definitely a rough go of it. I think he'll be fine in a couple of days, but it's gonna suck going out. It'd be nice if I had a heal all spell. I think I'm still a little short of that. Alright. No, I'm still a little short. How much does she have? 11. Yeah, man. Well, that's what I told him I didn't get. I was like, bro, it's before I start this, let me get some water. Well, I told him at the start when I made the first donation, I was like, this needs to be higher. Like you need to see, and I think he said he saw a Mean Mug deal, but I was like, you need to see like these reactions to this and realize that 250 isn't enough. And then he was like, okay, cool. If you're saying put it higher, I was like, yeah, put it higher. Like, and he raised it and then dropped it back down and added the cosplay on it. And I was like, bro, what? All right, this is Jewel Eater. And then Holly was talking about doing it as well for her, as a reward for her Twitch goal of Paris. And I was like, you really don't like, you don't even like spicy food, so don't do that to yourself. I think it is kind of hard for a lot of people to like fully encapsulate like how spicy something like that is. And I'm like, just don't do it to yourself. Yeah. I'm like, Holly, I may troll you a lot, but I'm also not a complete dick. Yeah, like oh crap. I wasn't expecting to do that yet. I like a certain amount of spice if there's like flavor to it. But I was like, you don't like spicy food, like you don't wanna put yourself through that. Like I like spicy food, and the most I would ever consider trying is like a corner of a chip, not even a whole one. And certainly not as big a bite as DG took. I guess you can make the argument that it would be worth it, but I'm like, whenever you're like there, okay. I thought he was about to do his whatchamacallit. Shit, I must be dead. Drop around, drop on Angela. I would maybe consider doing something like the hot ones, because at least I like wings. But just a stale tasting chip that's super hot for no reason, nah. Ooh. Almost got me. This damage we're doing is ass. Shit, I must be dead. And now you chain casting spells. Oh, this is kind of the problem with the girls' party is that, at least in the early game, if Angela runs out of magic, her usefulness is drastically reduced. And you see they're only doing like 1 damage. Okay. I was about to say, like, what? But yeah, we did just have just enough damage to beat him. So now that we got her, we have more spells with Angela. As soon as we get... It should be when we do the next battle. I don't think we have to wait for a level since I've already put points into intelligence. They're all story related. We have to find them in the course of the game. And that's another reason why, like, it's harder. Okay, so yeah, it looks like I do have to level. It's harder with Angela because, like, right now it does help that these guys are weak to holy. But and I guess they kind of lay it out in such a way that at least like maybe every other dungeon you don't have the elemental weakness, but usually they follow that with I hate those ears. They usually follow that with the dungeon where you do have the elemental weakness. Since you just finished that one before, so like excuse me. I think we're going to a wind section next. So the earth spells will be useful there. Now that's how you get more spirits. As far as the spells themselves that the spirits enable you to use, those are through levels. Levels at a certain point, so with Lise, her spells are dependent on her spirit stat. Angela, her spells are dependent on intelligence, and Carly's spells are dependent on spirit as well. At least at this point. I think further on in the game, she might have. I think she has some attack spells that maybe are dependent on intelligence, but those are like their main stats. Are the main stats of pretty much anybody that you're using is whatever it takes for them to get spells, and then vitality for your defense, strength for your attack. Intellect can be the last thing if it's not your primary. And then for Hawk, you want to actually put points into luck for him, because some of his spells are dependent on luck as well as agility. But they all, regardless, they all have the same thing where their spells are locked behind whatever mana spirits you have access to. It's just that all the guys also have some amount of physical capability, so it doesn't affect them as much in the early game as it does a group like this. Ah, he got it off. But luck also affects that spinning wheel whenever I open the chest, and whether or not I have a few or several or a lot of okay spaces to see if I end up catching that damage or not. Save it just in case. And we'll see where it takes us. Nope. But I would generally, I haven't played the version that Arthur has yet. I do intend on getting it at some point and trying it. But I would generally recommend this game or the version Arthur played to anybody, because it's it has a lot of replayability, so it's not just one and done. Like each pair has their own story, and most of the storylines follow each other, I would say about 60-70% of the time. And then Reese has one with Hawk. Angela in the purple has one with Duran, and Carly has one with Kevin. So they share similar storylines, or at least when the storylines diverge, that's where the splits are. So besides like that aspect of replayability, there's also a class system, which this one lacks the final class system that the version Arthur played did, but at least it still gives you like, okay, let me try this combination with this combination. Let me see how. And it might not even be combinations or synergy that you really want. It might just be, I just want to try this class and this class. So I don't know if I'm necessarily going to stream it, but whenever I get to that point, like Carly is probably going to be double light, because her holy class, our super holy class, is just really good. I'm not sure when we're going to make Lisa or Angela yet. Because those I might try to focus a little more on synergy, whereas I can like increase like magic stats are for her, or decrease stats for the enemies I'm fighting to make her spells more effective. Oh yeah, I forgot about these. We'll probably get through to Forsena, and then that might be where I stop, because I do feel like super sleepy for some reason. So like that guy right there is Duran. He's another one of the characters. No, not really. The team synergy is, they're gonna come in at roughly the same level whenever they join you. So the team synergy is really just dependent on what classes you want to use. And so to that degree, if you're playing it and you intend not to look up anything, that makes it a little bit harder. Just because you won't know what spells you're gonna get going forward, or like what stats are gonna be more emphasized with what class. Though for the first two classes, if you include this class as the first one, it doesn't necessarily matter going forward as much as it did with Arthur's playthrough. So like it really matters in the third class, but like in this one, I can put points wherever I want as far as the levels go. and you'll see that. I don't know if you were here when I leveled earlier, but you'll see that a little bit because somebody's about to hit another level anyways. But when you go up to the next class, you automatically go to the maxes of the previous class. So say like, and level 18 is where you like can promote to the next class. But say just in this case, like all these capped at level 10 while I'm in this class, and I chose Valkyrie. Even though I only have from here to level 10 another 10 points, so I obviously can't max all these. As soon as I choose to go to Valkyrie or roommate, it wouldn't matter. But as soon as I go to the next level, they would all start at 10 points each. So in some regard, that can, if you really want to get into the minutia of it, it can affect the synergy. But mostly the synergy is just what class do you want to go, what spells does it have access to, and how does it support your main damage dealer. So like for this team, at the start, Lise will be generally my main damage dealer, just because she's not dependent on magic for it, because she doesn't have any spells. But probably by about the mid game, Angela will be more my main damage dealer. So that's where I'll be trying to decide, do I want to focus on things that increase her stats, especially her her intelligence, or things that decrease the ball stats, which are probably they're basically the same thing, but then at that point it'll kind of depend on what I want Lise to be capable of doing. Alright, so yeah, this is the screen I was talking about. So here's the thing that I was mentioning earlier about maxing out your stats. So right now, and I'm not sure if I can do this later, but there will be times where one stat is a little bit too much above all the other stats, and they'll gray it out so you can't increase it. So you'll have to choose. That's basically where you default to the secondary stats. So like, I could choose Vitality to make her a little bit more excuse me, foundationally solid. Could use Strength, so whenever she runs out of magic, she can actually do some damage. And consider her Vitality is a little bit higher. Yeah, I'll probably do Strength, because her base Vitality will be lower, but she'll compensate with higher defense in her armor. But now that I got a level, just notice his face. Now that I got a level, she was able to learn the next magic spell, so now she's a little bit more effective. And let's see this spell. And it did jack all to them. So they're probably strong against Earth. But that's kind of where I was saying, like, she can be pretty limited in the early game, even though her spells in particular can do a lot of damage. It's depending on whether or not the enemy is weak to them or at least susceptible to them. And when that's not the case, it makes her usefulness drop drastically. But yeah, sorry, to get back to the question though, like the synergy isn't affected by story speeds. The stories are, regardless of who is your main character and whatnot, the stories progress at pretty much the same rate. What's this way? I mean, it kind of, and knowing that like you can change classes. I know some people consider it like spoiling and all that. And to be fair, you don't necessarily need to know like who pairs well with what for. Excuse me. You know, have a decent chance at like being able to beat the game, since they made it as to where pretty much any class, any combination of classes can work. The hell? It just, the only thing that depends on is like how effective it is. That group of classes is, or that team is. That said, there is ways to like make very, very stupidly overpowered groups. But again, that generally comes down to you focusing on making one character extremely like powerful and supporting what they can do. And then the others, they're still capable, but you fill in the gaps. Versus being like a primary damage dealer. Just what I needed. I'll probably go another 30 minutes at the most. Now I could raise this, and I probably should, but I'm gonna raise defense a little more since she's still in the mix. Keep her effective in the melee range. Now dude better not cast a spell on me from there. I'll say one thing that makes me, or that always makes me feel amused is when there can only be so many sprites on screen at a time, and obviously like you haven't gotten the message that you want to battle. So like some enemy comes flying in from off screen to take a swing at you. What else is here? Assuming it's just leads back to the courtyard. Yep. I don't recall if agility has an effect on your accuracy or not. I feel like it does. Like given that it automatically raises with each class change, that's not really something I feel like you need to put points into, since it will just raise on its own. Yeah, if the king's right there, I definitely need to pull some round drops out. Because I do not remember if I'm going to get in the fight. I'm glad I looked at that. Can't get to him in time. Thankfully, she doesn't take a lot of damage from spells, since she is also a magician. So, let's see. So I believe in the, it's actually one of the more recent games, Legends of Mana or Heroes of Mana. I think it's Heroes of Mana. Is a RTS game that was set as a prequel to this game. And this guy, King Richard, is in there. Duran's father, Loki, is there. I think basically every major character in this one Like their parents show up in some form or fashion, and then a lot of surrounding characters. And if I remember correctly, it's actually implied that Richard here hooked up with the Queen of Altena when they were younger and produced Angela. So effectively, this is his daughter. He's just never seen her. Which I would kind of like to take a look at that game too, because I only vaguely know what's going on in it, really just from like a Wikipedia article or a box cover. So it's kind of nice to see what they thought the world, how this world came to be from that world. So Rolante is where our lead character is from, which is why she has that little reaction. So one of the things you can do in Brazil is there's a black market there at night. And you can get a few items which help out a lot if you have like a magic deficient group. I don't really think I'll need those. Hey, what's going on, Artemis? This is Seiken Densetsu 3. It's the game that Trials of Mana, the recent remake, was based on. Let me see what they got in here. But it's like I was just telling Key Dog, it is a game that one of those games I like recommending everybody is interested in these kind of games, and even if you're necessarily not, or not necessarily, just to give it a try. And there we go. Now, there we have the spells. You can see them populate up here. I don't think you can. You can select them. Did they? Oh. Huh. There you go. I was wondering how you do that permanently. That answered that question at least. Yeah, I definitely need to raise the strength of my two mages. Because they are not really carrying the weight on damage from not casting spells. And that's what I thought. Taking a little long to go down. I'm just gonna start using some magic to clean these up. I can't remember where I'm supposed to go. Because I thought he was going to have the cannon already set up over here. Unless the port is to the west. Let me use the inn because I need to recover my magic anyways. Okay, let's see what I have to do. Forgot to roll the RPGs. Just talk to everybody before you leave the town. Oop. Ah. So we'll get back to Maya. So yeah. Yeah. Sure. So let me save and check something. I think I'll work my way to Bazell and should be able to save there. And that's probably where I'll call it for today because I said I want to get into the gym before it gets too late and I still haven't even eaten lunch yet. I'm having a horrible luck with these. They're like, those are a reason to raise your luck stat. And later on in the game, for like the best armor and weapons, and also to be able to do the changes to class 3, you have to have C's that you get in those. In those chests, and you do need a higher luck stat to generate those more often. Oh, she's sneaky. Oh, what's going on, Run? How you doing? Normally, yeah, I prefer to eat after exercising. So, like, if I go for a run in the morning, it'll be first thing, and then I'll eat breakfast. If I go to the gym, I'll always eat afterwards. 'Cause I don't like having a big heavy meal before I go to work out. Man, I've just been busy working and hitting the gym, Run. Good to hear that your ankle is better. And I know how much stuff like that can be an impediment, and especially with your lifting program. Like, you can't afford to have an ankle be kind of iffy on you. Because your lifting program is a lot, my guy. Yeah, honestly, I've been doing pretty decent like the last few weeks. Oh. Get him before he does that bullshit. Sometimes you have to scale it backwards. Sometimes you need to scale it backwards. And that's basically what I've been doing with this, is like decide to step back and like let my body reacclimate to it and really give like my goals the kind of time that they need to like get there. Damn it. So quick with that thing. But it's, yeah, my program seems to actually be working so far, and it's like the smallest thing, or something that seems like the smallest thing is what's really like making it, feels like is what's making it work. Alright, we should be able to get in. Dope. There's the in. Now, honestly, for taking some time off has helped me a lot, but really, I've noticed, and I wanted to do like a really small write-up about it, but like, I was rethinking, like, as far as progression methods go, but I was rethinking like how some of the progression methods work out, and I've started realizing the simple elegance that goes into like the Texas method, or like the starting strength method. Where you just go up like 5 pounds week to week on your major lifts, and how like kind of rushing it is really less conducive than you think. Because you know, normally in the gym you can never find anything under a 5 pounder. And so for like the longest, I was just like, look, I'll just use that week to week. And then some weeks I'll increase, some weeks I won't. But like I went and got 2.5 pound plates. It feels like there's something in my throat. And I noticed that like it really is more conducive to week. So I honestly just getting the 2.5 pounders has done like a lot for me. Cause it's like week to week, if you're doing all the supplemental exercises. Hey, what's going on, Jack? Well, yeah, week to week, if you're doing all the supplemental exercises, then it's like, okay, then I can add 5 pounds to, obviously with like diminishing returns over time, but I can add 5 pounds to this squat or this deadlift or this bench or whatever, and it's not like anything crazy. It doesn't feel like anything crazy. If you can do 5 reps the week before and you add the 5 on, then generally at the least you're going to get the 4 reps, but just from the rest you should be able to push out the 5 reps anyways. But the other part of it I noticed, and I never, like I said, I didn't really think about the elegance of it, um, was that, and also, and I don't know if it's inadvertent or not, or planned is probably planned, honestly, but it accounts for the center of mass. So, like, as you're adding that weight over time, like going from, let's say, 225 to 230, 235, so on and so forth, up till you hit the next plate at 315, like, you're building further out from the center of mass. So then when you get back to the actual plate, since it's so much further in compared to how far out you're building, it actually feels a little bit lighter than like the last set you were doing before the plate. And if you were to actually do like a full functional test, considering the distance from center of gravity, it probably is heavier at that point. When you go from instead of going from 45 to 45, when you're at the 40 or 42 and a half point, as far as like the step up to the next plate. So that's where I was like, oh, that is amazingly ingenious. And yes, Jack, I only do tests. I am not what some would call a streamer. But yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, I am still replacing equipment. And I was like, it makes sense how you could, if you're following this method, you're eating correctly for whatever your goal is, and at least like the minimum amount for muscle gain. And like you're getting your rest and recovery down. It makes it sensible why you could say like, okay, you could add within a couple of years, you can get your like your deadlift up into the mid 400s, even just going from bar. If not like approaching 500, or get your squat at like the low 400s, or your bench to like the low 300s. Because even if you're trying that method, and even going back to your point of like scaling it instead of week to week, every other week, that's still 250 pounds, 260 actually, over the course of 2 years. And that's like, well, pretty much anybody can do the bar. So it's a matter of, like I said, whether or not you're doing everything conducive to let that grow. And it made me kind of like really realize what is meant by stuff like check your ego at the door, because like increasing on like a 2.5 pound aside basis on week to week seems like a kind of punk play, but it's like, okay, but over time, like and not even a long time, but like a few weeks to a few months, and you can make drastic changes. So I've been enjoying using that methodology. Now I plan to ride that out at least through like I think June. Wake me up at night. Alright, let's see what's in this black market. And yeah, I think I'll do that through June. And it's kind of working that I'm doing like or attempting to do a slow cut at the same time. So, let's see what's in this house first. I think it's just a dude that works nights or stays here. Yeah. Ideally, I'll do that. Hit some strength goals by June. And I'll take like 2-3 weeks break. Just from like the heavy lifting, kind of do a full like deload and recovery, and then scale it up maybe throughout the end of the year. Alright, so this is where you can make up for like a lack of available magic or a lack of a magician at all. And this can really help with I mean, it's more effective with your physical damage dealers, but it can help this group kind of make up for that lack of damage that they're going to be suffering. Gotcha. Really only need a couple of these because they're only going to be useful on Reese or Lease. I do not need this because I have Earth Magic. A few of these though are useful. And agility doesn't really do me. I'll get a couple of these. Sure, whatever. So that's kind of stuff I came here to get. And also some Poda oils to do multi-healing. I only need a few of those though because Carly will be able to multi-heal herself before too much longer. I believe at the next class change, regardless of which direction I take it. So you don't need too many of those. Yeah, don't want any of that. I already have light magic. We'll get a couple of these. And a few of these. No, I think this is just a single person full heal. And a handful of these. But I have Tinkle Rain, so that should deal with most of that. Can't remember if this is actually necessary to see. I don't think he says anything else. But since nobody else has a connection to Ellie, nobody else has that reaction. Alright, and yeah, that is pretty much it that I needed from here. Alright, it's 5 o'clock, so I need to get my butt up and go to the gym. Thankfully, I had a really good amount of money from just exploring, so I think I still have, what, 3,000 at least? Almost. Oh, man. So, thanks for popping by, y'all. I might hop on tomorrow, I'm not sure. I'm really only just thinking about, since I want to focus more on getting back into the gym and getting back to cooking and whatnot. Hey, what's going on, Jay? How you doing? You actually came like right when I was about to finish up so I can go to the gym. Yeah, I'm trying to focus, or get back to focusing on cooking and getting back into the gym. So I won't be streaming as much as I was before. I might do like Saturday or Sunday, I guess. That's probably not too much of an encroachment. So yeah, I think I'll let you do something like that. Since I usually do the gym Monday through Saturday. But thanks you guys for popping by. Let's see, I think I saw Solila is still on. So that's probably who we're going to raid. Yeah, she's still on. She's been on for a while. So let's go over it there. Damn, I didn't even know you were just deep lurking, Techie. Thanks for Thanks for stopping by. So for anybody that's on mobile and gets caught behind, we are going to raise Lila. Oh, I forgot I can do shoutouts now, so let me do that. That is her link. I was about to say, where the hell is the clip?
I cannot get on the spring!
No, honestly, I don't even know if that clip has audio right now. I'm just gonna assume it does. But that is gonna be who we're rating. So if you get left behind, there's a link. She's playing The Sims, so I'm sure it's something. Let me not say completely degenerate. Let me just say mildly degenerate that's going on. But I guess we'll have to find out for ourselves. So you guys have a good Saturday. Oh shit, it's Super Bowl tomorrow, so I might not even be on tomorrow. I guess we'll see. If I am, it'll probably be something like this where I'm just on for like hour and a half, 2 hours. Because that also reminds me I need to pull some wings out of the freezer so I can throw them on the grill. Alright, well, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by. See y'all later.